and see which map we will play. Of course, we'll start with 2 excluded maps, which are Clubhouse and Coastline, 2 maps that were played last week. Of course, Coastline was played by LeStream against Vitality, and PENTA Sports, we're playing it against Mao's here for Clubhouse. Bank Cafe.
Yeah. We saw quite a bit of Bank in NA, actually, of all places.
Yeah, it's a great map. I mean, it's odd to see that outside of the basement, it works very well. And Consulate.
That's as you mentioned earlier, that's usually a pretty good map for both teams, and I got to imagine this should be a close match in theory. In theory, but you never know. The operator bans. I know I say that a lot, but because it's true, the operator bans and how well the team's prepared for those and prepared to use those for or against the opponent teams seems to have a big factor in this game. And I was glad they introduced that, because now it's a little bit more variable than you'd expect. It, you know, hey, this is their map or this is their map. Yep. Doesn't always play as much into it as it used to. Now that you can kind of counter the strategies of other teams, and knowing, hey, this is their map, well, that means they've shown a lot on it. That means you know what to ban and what to deal with. So, you know, plenty of counterplay available, but again,
coaches have their work cut out for them.
At this point, like being a coach like in year 1 and being a coach in year 4 is like such a drastic difference. I can imagine. I'm sure you could ask Shaz that, but it's just the work that's the way needed. Sua, like you see a lot of teams now needing 2 coaches or a coach and an analyst, or you know, really kind of needing to buff up the team because of how much work it is.
Okay, well, what do you guys think about the matchup? Remember, these percentages that you see, you can vote on them for every single match, and I agree with this.
Yeah, that seems about right for this. Okay. Although, I mean, I actually maybe would give a little bit more to the stream based off how they've been playing lately. But at the same time, it should be a pretty close match in this particular one, I think.
I wouldn't be too surprised even if we got a draw at the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, LeStream definitely been playing better, so you would be at least better. When I say better, it's not to really make it as black as white as a lot of people think. And this is a byproduct of a lot of the competitiveness that we have here. Better is just in the moment itself, whereas in others, you might not have the same results. So take all of this with a pinch of salt, and, you know, not everybody can be the best forever.
Yeah, well, we'll see if this match is going to help decide that. If we do get a draw, it'd be interesting, because we haven't had very many in EU.
No, we have had 0. So it's definitely possible. It's not really the case if you look at North America and
World Cap.
Yeah, and, well, Latin America and NA definitely have had quite a few of those ties. But Capital, of course, first operator removed, and that was LeStream.
This is a good map for Capital, so that's not a huge surprise there. Definitely a lot of situations where you could find good use of both his crossbow bolts, but he has been getting banned a fair amount this season already, so not a huge surprise there. Hibana, though, interesting choice, just given how Thermite can be the more critical operator much of the time here. For example, hatches aren't often as big a deal on this map. They can be, but there's definitely maps where Hibana is a much, much bigger game changer, or even like when it's not necessarily just all the hatches, but some particular ones like Bank. Echo, unfortunately. Gotta suspect, of course, Mira is going to be coming up next.
Yeah, if this is EU.
Yeah.
So far, it is.
So far. Well, given that we're like 10 minutes in, this is still EU, yes.
And Clash.
Okay, well, then never mind. So they're going to ban the mobile Mira.
I mean, that's a good way.
They want the stationary one only.
That's a good way to call her, but it makes a lot of sense. If you look at the way that Penta plays, they run Clash quite consistently, much more than any other team really, especially in EU.
Sure.
So it makes a lot of sense that the Clash would be removed. A lot of that crowd control is just taken away from Penta. And LeStream is starting off on the defense. They're not really a team that runs that up. They just don't want to deal with the Capital. It builds very well. And we have to remind you every single time, the starting side that you're on makes a big, big change. And
so Mira available, but then going to 6th pick off of it. An enemy. Ooh,
we're playing console meeting room, so
this is rough though. Lion, Nomad, Gridlock.
Yeah.
That's not going to be
Where's the Jackal and the Dokkaebi? You don't need a hard breach for this one.
They could bring out some Blitz or Monty too. I mean, I'm just saying they could make this a bit more extreme, but the thing is, like, so if Plant gets down, that's pretty much it for defenders if everyone's left alive, because you've got air jabs, you've got the track stingers, and potentially some EE1D charges left. Good luck on a retake strategy, basically. So if that's LeStream's plan, they're going to have a very rough time of it, just because so much denial for that. I mean, it does help a little bit with roamers earlier in the phase in terms of taking map control, but I think more so late game, big plays from that potentially. We'll see if they can stay alive with all those operators and whether or not they use some of those Lion EE1Ds early. Some teams will use them a little bit earlier. Some teams will save all 3 pretty much for the execute and the post-plant, just because they're so short and the cooldown a little bit shorter than it used to be, as he's now come out of quarantine. You know, now they've cured him, right?
When will they cure everybody that is using him or has to play against him? That's really the big question.
Quarantine the players.
Something some people have been asking about, that's for sure.
Furniture redesign happening here.
Alfama doesn't want to pop the entire thing open here. Just want to put himself in a position where he can't get easily shot by the window, but doesn't want to just completely destroy it in case his opponents use this.
But now he has nowhere to sit. He's got to squat. Poor guy. It's just, calves are going to be killing him.
It's a Slav squat. It's a completely normal thing.
Totally. Staying flexible. But I got to imagine some grenades are going to come out here, and they're going to have to clear some ADS for these. Well, here's some air jabs going off, but for Buck's grenades especially to try and clear out some positions. Obviously, if they have the capped out a little bit easier. But it'll be interesting to see if this air jab as well. Oh, there we go. Taking the place of the Claymore, essentially, on the jump out.
Yeah, I mean, in the air, the air jab will not hit you. It's when you hit the ground when you're next to it.
Yeah.
So, just so you know, this happened with...
I do wish it worked in the air, though. That would make for much funnier looking launches through space.
Hilarious. However, it does not work when people vault out in the air. It's when they hit the ground. That's why it's set so low and not right above close to the window.
When are they going to allow us to play Claymores on the wall so we can just have them going up to windows?
Maybe one day. We have so many great ideas here, Devin.
We do. It's a laboratory of genius here.
Well, stun grenades will be launched in by Lion, and it's going to burn in Eddie ADS's by the stairs. An extra flashbang here as the grenade is being primed by Blast. The E1D to hold the Jaeger in place, but Blast, unfortunately, pushed back by the angle here on the skylight above yellow and won't be able to find the Jaeger. Rise is taking no damage. Alpha mode just a bit here on the engagement, so this keeps enemy on his toes, and a lot of time has been burnt off here. So well done by LeStream. And it's
that's denial.
That's what you need to worry about.
Super mute. I gotta say though, this is the one map besides Coastline that offers so much play for attackers from outside that it's not a huge surprise to see that it's been 2 minutes and they're not inside the building. But that's still not great. You really want control of yellow, at least if you can, by this point, if you're going to plan to push from there. Oh, he does spot a little bit of that. Obviously, you can't see the outline, but does see a little bit of the arm. And there's one EE1D used to get inside, and it does help Corey to actually get the kill because, of course, he's a little overconfident.
That's not what's supposed to happen. Corey finds the kill on Revon, and he just stood in place using the P10 Roni with the extended barrel, something that a lot of teams and a lot of players have been actually plotting. So 4 aces, what a close shot. Takes down enemy, and this is what happens when you engage people around the stairs. Let's see a run out, and one player will be pushed away, but Corey's already done the work. Hungry finishing him off, but he is the last player in. All the tracks, all the smokes have been thrown in, and he's all on his own. Takes damage from Rise. It rotates back onto the site. Very well done by the Jaeger. Rise just held his spot for the entirety of this matchup, and there was no one to push him away from yellow.
Fortunately, those yellow stairs, as I was saying, you usually want control of them by now, and that's why. Those pretty much spelled their doom at that point. It's unfortunate they didn't seem to have a better take for admin, because yellow is just, it's so tricky to push up that. When you have people that you cannot clear out adequately, it's one of those things where it's like, you almost need someone to take admin while you're taking yellow just in case you need to pivot to admin 2 minutes in.
Well, there's two things that I see here. First of all, the Habana ban. The Habana ban does not allow you to enter from admin easily.
It doesn't allow you to open up a couple different angles.
Exactly. You need to push the smoke or the mute that's playing inside of projector. And because you need to push yourself up and use your utility right on the wall as a thermite, you can get easily shot and you're going to get killed 99% of the time. So it doesn't really help you. Number two, the fact that the Capitao is banned, so you can't really lock things down by using the Capitao, the Lion, and the grenade.
It also hurts you on yellow stairs as well.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about. That's exactly what I was.
I just thought you meant for projector, because it also does work for projector to lock people in the connector and things like that.
Yeah, you have that for here, but you for projector and connector with the Habana and the Capitao, but Capitao also, of course, shines with the rest of the operators when sitting on the yellow skylight. So all of that just kind of plays together. In this round, though, LeStream, having won the very first one on defense on the top floor here in CEO, will go down.
Still got to defend the top floor, though.
Yeah, of course. Those holes, they work both ways.
Well, maybe we'll see an admin take this time, or maybe they just think yellow stairs will be a little bit clearer or freer, but I doubt it because it's goes right next to site down to piano. So generally, you still need to hold yellow stairs pretty adequately, although maybe not with the same level of resources. Oh, a missed throw from Alfama there. Not a big deal, though.
Even pros have oopsies here and there.
Just a few. Well, he's still going to get hopefully what he was looking for, but in the meantime, Rise actually gets what he deserves instead, and that is a lot of damage. The old upside down repel here doing a lot of work to deny at least as much as Admin Delays he can. And Alfama also down, so hopefully he got all 3 of his cameras out because it doesn't look like he's going to be an... Oh.
Aces, what a shot. You need to push yourself so close up to the window to deal with anyone on the reverse repel. And right now in Pro League, there's no other way around it. It's reverse repel happen. If you're not doing it, you're not one of the cool kids. Alfama will be reset here and put back up to 20 HP, as you can tell. And it's weird that he actually survived 1 HP just running away, but he's going to be reset and we'll be playing more closer to the site. Rise will find one here onto Hungry. He's somehow staying alive. An enemy is so low on HP, there's no grenades left. There's nobody that's going to be running, at least so far, into the line of sight of Penta. So walk closely into the site.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle. It seems to take the admin as well. Now we see why they were so focused on yellow last time. It doesn't seem their take is all that great. It's surprising, too, considering the amount of crossfire they could set up on admin for this push, because obviously they need admin, but it's taking them so long and they're not dedicating all their people to it. Revan instead on this flank could be, I mean, it could be a big game changer if he was alive still, because Aces shuts him down.
Enemy has to join up with Sir Boss. They're the last 2 alive. They're going to need to crack open this one. Corey will find Sir Boss here right on the run out. Enemy finding Rise, and he's all on his own. He's got around 35-ish HP, and not much to work with. The diffuser's already been set outside, and it's the perfect angle, but enemy actually finds him. Aces to go down. The T5 not fast enough to lock onto the Twitch and take enemy out. Continue to maneuver up, but the Gumayan actually compounds and does so much damage to him every tick just because of that low HP that he's had before. Corey watching a back angle. There's 3 left alive for LeStream, and the round is all but lost. Enemy will try to come in from below in spiral, and the Maestro's already holding on. Hits the knee. Oh, man. I was a Twitch like you before I took an arrow to the knee.
And then, now what are you?
I'm a Mossy.
Just spending time on your motorcycle instead because you can't walk as well?
Exactly. That's a good way to say it.
I wear my helmet all the time because it's, you know, it's the only way I can get around. Well, LeStream showing dominance on wherever the attack comes. If it comes on yellow stairs, guess who's there? LeStream. If it comes on admin, there they are as well. And that seems to be the big problem here for Penta, is just penetrating that outer layer, that initial part of the attack. They were a little spread out, I think, that round, though. They definitely could have gone for a little bit more firepower, I think, onto the admin side, even if they came in from the printer as well, the printer window. There's a lot of different ways they could have played that, potentially. Droning might have also not been that great, just because they might have had a Mozzie around to help deny some of that. With that being said, the lack of serious pressure on admin completely crippled most of that round, unfortunately for them. And having the Nomad come around underneath, like, it's a great idea, but let's say you take control of admin, what better way to lock it down than 2 air jabs to make sure that they can't rotate back into there from any side? So, I don't know, just maybe a little bit of misplays in terms of their attacks. I don't think they're doing a great job of reading LeStream and adapting to it, but it doesn't help that LeStream are bringing things like Mute and Mozzie to help deny some of that droning. We'll see how things go down here in the basement now that they're not playing with the Mozzie, but they are playing with the Mira. That's, again, going to be something they're going to have trouble dealing with. I got to imagine then maybe part of the plan in not banning the Mira is, you know, the Hibana's banned. Mm-hmm. So you're really going to be able to play the Mira even more effectively. Now, obviously, it was 2 different people banning those. You had LeStream was the one to ban the Clash instead of the Mira.
Yep.
And then, of course, Penta was the one to ban the Hibana. So obviously, they didn't coordinate that ahead of time, but maybe that's just taking advantage of it, reading into it and saying, you know what, we'll abuse Mira since no easy way to take out the Black Mirrors.
Well, shock drone is going to be thrown into CEO, and the best thing about a take here on Consulate is to make sure that you take as much room as possible. So map control is your #1 priority. Go up, clear the top floor, then descend down into the basement. Of course, they control piano as you go. It's just something that will save you time and effort and stress and all of that and make it easier for you.
Well, they haven't successfully taken the top floor any of the rounds, regardless of the bomb site. So this is their best chance yet to do that. If they can't take the top floor this time, they might just want to sit this one out.
You know, Devin, sometimes you really do surprise me as a man of pure positivity.
you know, I'm looking for the best in everyone.
That's so wholesome.
Maybe more just half-some.
Well, Rise is going to be playing the smoke here. He's got the mute as well to help him out in the bathroom, but of course, oh no, Rise just rotates down. Okay, so they're going to leave the smoke alone. This is the usual position for your secondary mirror. The second one is played, or the main one in this case, is played downstairs. Should be mute jammers here to block off any utility from being used, but at least Hungry's going to be able to spot the smoke of Rise. So actually no jammers played here. Huh.
Pretty typical to have a smoke in there and then be able to rotate him out through the hatch. But there's a lot of good pinches where you could try and catch him on the rotate, even trying to actually jump down the hatch, depending on how early he decides to do that. But was the hatch even open that time? It almost looked like it wasn't.
It was. The mute rotated down.
Okay, good. I was going to say, like, it almost looked like it wasn't from the angle. But that's good. But the problem is, of course, there's holes over on that side. So he's going to have to be careful when he says to make that rotate. You hear tracks going down as well to try and make sure he can't leave any other way. Also, I can imagine maybe an air jab could be set up here, but there he goes. A nice kill from him. And enemy, oh.
Ravon somehow staying alive, but Rise takes barely any damage. But the last gas canister has been used, and this might allow him to drop on down. He's got the shotgun in hand, and the laser sight will reveal his position. 2 flashbangs right into him as he watches for the Nomad that's peeking around. 30 seconds left. He gets shot from the side. What a close one from Hungry. Corey, though, will find Ravon and eliminate the Nomad that already used the majority of her utility. Hungry will pass right over the open hole as Alphama will fire in with his ITA. His shotgun just not enough firepower here to take down the gridlock above. 12 seconds left as Boss will find Hicks. Aces on the refrag onto Hungry. Now your top floor control has been completely denied. Alphama with the shotgun up close and personal. See Corey rotating down, and here's the one tap you need, and the double from Aces and Alphama supporting one another in it. Beautifully played by LeStream, realizing the split, but the entire problem was Penta's attack, and this is something that they always struggled with. And you add on top the operators plus the site. This is why when you say a certain team is strong on one map, it always depends on the operator bans. And the Capitao and the Habana definitely had an effect on the first and second round. And on the third, the Capitao not being present.
Yeah.
Definitely not helping out.
Definitely could have made it a lot easier to clear out that bathroom, and that was really what flushed that round down the drain for the attackers, is their inability to take out smoke in there adequately. At least they took top floor control, I'll give them that. But after that, they weren't able to turn that into anything, and it's unfortunate, actually, for the attackers that you can't destroy through the ceiling of the bathroom, because obviously if they could have done that, that could have made a lot shorter work of smoke, but he was also doing a very good job. You saw how long he was able to hold on despite all the pressure on him. And then the follow-up from the Bandit below as well, that was really nice in terms of like teamwork to try and at least trade him out. I like his commitment to sticking in the bathroom. He's just like, forget dropping hatch, you know, I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to burn all my smokes to burn time because I'm not getting out of this alive. You know, he dedicated to his job and gave a lot more opportunity for the battle downstairs to be successful, and it was due to a lot of good shotgun play, including the ITA. I almost wanted to see Gridlock's shotgun, the super shorty versus the ITA, and like a sort of buck kind of play going on.
The shorty is surprisingly amazing.
M870-ish.
It has something to that, even though it's a tiny shotgun. But on top of it, the rate of fire on it is extremely surprising.
Yeah.
It just pop, and you're done. And like, okay, well, that was fast. It unloaded so much damage downrange.
Yeah.
Well, up close, because you're not going to really do much at range, but there you go.
Almost needs a longer reload time just to make up for that, but speaking of reload, Rise, again, yellow stairs. He's like, welcome home to your death. Nomad, again, an early death for Ravon. Not great on a start here, and they don't have the redundant gridlock this time.
This team is working so perfectly together. This is a beast that's definitely been working pretty well for the past couple weeks, and well-oiled machine here. So LMGE will be brought by the Zofia, so the Unicorn is just rattling away. It's a great gun, by the way. A lot of people have been talking about the LMGs in general in the past. Well, now a lot more teams have been using them. There's a lot of them that are very viable. The sites, for some, if you look at Gridlock and Capitao, have been essential for that change, specifically for Capitao.
I guess this hasn't caught on as much for IQ yet.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where Slash was using
he was trying
G8 for a while.
But Rise still getting pressured on, but the barbed wire actually doing its job in terms of slowing them down. Diffuser actually sitting on the ground.
Oh, turns right around and trades it. Oh, Hungry.
Good teamwork.
It worked out, but it was off of Ryze's mistake, and then the double smoke from Hicks to take out Serboth and Blas. Hungry taking out Alfama, so that's the Maestro eliminated, but you leave Hungry and enemy alive, and the Diffuser on its own here in yellow. And Hicks doesn't even need to move away. He just stays there. What's the Jackal going to do? Nothing.
Yeah. Shotgun on yellow stairs is just such a death trap.
And there's also control of a drone.
Oh, yeah. Mozzie trying to peek outside for a potential run out.
You come on in. Enemy trading off aces for his teammate Hungry. It's a 1v2 as enemy shot down by Corey comes on in. Corey in control of the basement for almost the entire round. The extended barrel on the P10 Roni definitely helping out. It's a lower damage SMG, so you get a tiny bit of extended range on it, but the gun has no recoil whatsoever, and somehow the extended barrel actually does not change that. So it's kind of a free attachment, much like if you look at Frost and her gun as well.
I guess you have to consider slightly longer, so you could potentially be spotted easier in certain edge case scenarios. Oh, is that Monty going to actually be stuck here? I got to say, losing Uno, I think a lot of people were concerned a little bit for LeStream, but Corey seems to have filled the role quite well. I mean, maybe arguably sometimes even better than the way Uno did, at least at first.
See? Because when it was
told you. Well, remember at first
I told
when
Parker,
it was
but
Uno
nobody
and
believed me. Nobody believes
You're
me.
biased towards Germans.
I mean, it's not because I want to secretly be German, okay?
Right.
That's definitely not it.
It's not a secret. So you're right, that's not it.
No, secret aren't in Pro League anymore.
Oh, shots.
But in this case, I think Uno was playing on a completely different plane. It's like playing 4D chess on his own and everybody else is on 2D.
Yeah.
And when you have that sort of level, no matter how skilled you are, you're not going to really have an impact. In fact, you turn into a detriment. So this change indirectly plays well into LeStream.
Yeah. It just seems like Corey is able to also play on his own very well. I imagine the coordination is there, but
pretty good.
As a solo player, he always seems to kind of play a little bit weird, but it seems to work very well. And I think maybe that's what the stream needed in the replacement, was something similar to that. Similar to what Uno could do, which is to play solo when he can. Obviously, Aces does a good job of that as well, but just overall, I think it worked out well. But we do have the Monty coming out this time, as well as the Jackal. So they keep kind of changing up their lineup a little bit in terms of rotating some of the operators out to see if they could find some weakness here.
It's a desperation play at this point, knowing that this team have a big advantage. They're on the defense with 4 rounds. That's a pretty good start for this team. If they find a 5th and then maybe a 6th, then they're kind of running away with it at this point. Interestingly enough, we've had no Thatchers played whatsoever. It's been mostly Penta trying to force themselves down, except for the first round where they played yellow decently well. They just did not have the Capital or the really tiny bit of correct coordination they required to clean it up. Otherwise, it's been trying to go for gunfights, and those don't always really work out for you. Gumine in the foot of Serboth. He has to fall on back, and an extra one being set by Aces just for good measure.
Well, Ryze again living a long time up here, stairs here. I mean, it's only been a minute, but if trend continues, he's not going to die anytime soon. And Blas and Serboth both taking damage already. Alfama getting pushed away, but still alive. So far, the pressure from Penta isn't really turning into anything but damage on themselves for the most part. Corey taking a little bit, well, a lot of it now, as Ryze is also taking a little, still alive though.
Pre-fire as well from Ryze again. That's a difficult angle to face, and what a headshot. Serboth eliminated as he's looking the wrong way. Ryze keeping on the fire as he switches towards the Twitch, but Ace has already gotten 1 kill. The pistol whip from Ryze as Aces also puts up 1. And last alive is Hungry. Again, it's a 1v3. Every single round has been turning into something like this. Penta just unable to execute. Aces will trigger one of the Nomad air jabs, but fears that yet again, Devin, it's too little, too late.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a minute to play with, but he's also got 3 people to play with, and that's certainly going to do what they can to play with him at this point. You see a lot of distraction going on as well, so he can't ever feel confident in this push. And Diffuser is too far from him because of the Monty dropping it for him to actually rescue it. He's just going to frag out at this point.
Smoke has to come out. He doesn't even have the Diffuser, as you mentioned. He's going to get spotted and pre-fired by Aces upstairs. The most default of angles that you can be looking at
Still
here.
denies you.
There's nothing that you can do against it. You have to take the top floor. That's why we always say, take the top and then go all the way to the bottom. There's a certain way of doing things.
It's because there's no elevators and you'd rather walk downstairs than up them.
If you had elevators in Siege, it would be horrible.
Just loading screens, essentially.
Hungry coming in from behind. Alfama is close up to the circle desk, and Hicks as well is aiming right at the cross angle. Fire into Hungry. One bullet will connect, and then Alfama hits the headshot. 5 rounds in a row for LeStream. Their defense working out perfectly. And they are just a super well-buttered machine.
Yeah, I gotta worry for Penta whether or not they can do as well on defense. And the problem is, of course, at that point, it may already be 6 points for LeStream. So even if Penta does well on defense, that can't get them a win. So
yeah.
I mean, we aren't there yet, but we're 1 round away from that right now. And so far, with the way LeStream have been playing, especially the way that Rise has just been able to play very aggressively on both the Smoke and the Jaeger in terms of holding his position, has been such a huge detriment to these Penta attacks. Corey, again, going to try and deny some drone play here. This time, though, he's going to be on the Mozzie instead of the Bandit for Garage, but so far, they've been doing a great job with those mutes and Mozzies in terms of denying it. And as well, you saw earlier that drone trying to spot someone for potential runout. But they would continue to do this tour across all 3 of the bomb sites successfully. Not wanting to throw it. I mean, it would have been interesting to see them try and throw things off and go to the other bomb site, but probably not a good reason to when Garage worked so well. The big thing here, though, is can they find a way to take Bathroom more efficiently and buy themselves some extra time to get better position to actually attack downstairs? Will they get the Garage open? Obviously, there's just a mute to deny it, but they're not playing Thatcher despite it being available. So because of that, they don't have an easy way other than maybe peeking in or taking control of Piano. Taking control of Piano was, of course, the hard part, right? Because of the Smoke in the Bathroom. So again, it all comes down to Rise doing his work upstairs, and if he can adequately, it's just going to go to at least 6 points for LeStream here. We'll see, though. I guess they do at least have a Twitch drone to try and take out the mute jammers. So there is that. In terms of extra utility, Twitch has seen a little bit of a revival since the ability to take out the Maestro Evil Eyes. And I know some of the other casters were saying, like, oh, did Twitch need a buff? And it's like, not necessarily, but it's nice to see more counterplay to the Evil Eyes now.
Yeah, but not in a way where you can like double tap and destroy something as...
No, it might need to be a little bit harder. It might need to be tweaked to be a little bit harder. But at the same time, like, there's Mozzie in play now and other ways to deny drones and potentially even capture those shock drones. So, I don't know. I feel like it's still in an okay place, and we don't see Twitch being, like, consistently run all the time. Just enough to kind of say it's viable now.
Damn. Devin throwing out the shade. That's
all right. I'm trying to be fair and balanced here.
I know. Some people will take it as a completely negative thing because that's how it goes. Ravon moving down and actually finds the shot on Aces. What a long angle here all through the back hallway. He hears the second player also that was moving in by the bottom. Spiral. Blast will find one more onto Rise. So this is, for once, working in Penta's way. And it might finally be the round that they can put up on the board. Alfama, the roaming Mira, moving in from behind his opponents. And should be hearing that drone being destroyed. So
this is a big risk, taking your Mira out of play when they're attacking Garage.
But because there's nobody on the drone, because Penta did not lose a single player, Alfama is able to move because he knows that there's nobody going to be watching those drones consistently and swiping through them. So he actually has a pretty darn good shot at finding the perfect angle. So far, he's just maneuvering his way slowly behind his opponents. The Twitch just has no idea. He finds the kill on enemy and falls on back. Corey with another one as the Thermite falls down, as well as the Diffuser. Going to turn around the corner here as Alfama pulls up the shotgun. Oh no, it hits right next to the Ash. Turns around to try and hit it, and Ravon finally eliminated as Hungry will turn this into a 2v2. A drop from Hicks, one on the site. Now it turns a 1v1. Blast versus Hicks. Blast has done so far here. So well so far. Goes in. Goo Mine will spot him out, and he's going to get tapped right in the head. Hicks, a beautiful shot, using the Goo Mines to his advantage. And all, again, extremely intelligent play by Alfama, realizing that, okay, well, one thing I can recover is the fact that there's a full team from Penta still alive. There's probably nobody watching the back drones.
Yeah.
And he comes in so well.
Well, also taking advantage of the fact that they didn't have the Nomad or Gridlock set up to be able to stop it for once, knowing that that's the operator lineup on attack finally, as they've shifted so many people to not have that anymore because they weren't getting a lot out of it. Just super high IQ play in terms of taking advantage of that, despite being a slow one-speed operator and just creeping over that. Obviously, if he hadn't been careful, he could have been heard. But catching him from behind, it was the counter push. You had such a great initial push by Penta in terms of those 2 kills. Mm-hmm. But then the rest of their play kind of became more predictable in the sense that you know where they're going from there for the most part because they've got the picks, they've got the top and middle floor control. So it was just very smart of the Mirror to rotate up early and quickly and make a snap decision. Because had it tried to rotate up late, might have much higher chance he would have been caught on that rotate. So just, yeah, very, very smart adaptation as well as great play from the Legion. We'll see, though. PENTA on defense now, and this could be their one and only round if they can't improve how they've been playing. They are going to have the mirror as well to help with defending. Oh, sorry, Corey. A little too visible. One more black mirror here to be set up as well. Nomad going to be brought from LeStream as well, but they're going to bring an IQ, so something a little bit different as well as the Zofia. Just a slightly different lineup than we saw from PENTA, but again, no Thatcher being brought.
You're not really going to be worrying much about long-range destruction, just because it's mostly in the reinforcements and the Habana is banned. That's really the target ban in it. But actually, Rise comes in from below. He's going to watch through all the hatches. Actually realizes that the bathroom hatch into the basement is reinforced.
Well, that's going to be a hint.
Definitely an oddity.
Yeah.
Since the defense is on the console chamber.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually not a reinforcement you'd waste. Obviously, they must have had a spare.
They had to put one for the mirror window in the admin office. So...
Ooh. Corey just hoping they make a mistake here. The pressure coming on the doorway as well to try and force a push up the stairs, but it's just not leading to a kill from Corey. However, that being said, it's definitely getting close, but gives away his position now.
Oh, Sir Boss is down.
Pinch. Oh.
There you go. Corey taking him out. That was a huge frag there. The entirety of the yellow stairs are now opened up. This might allow Hicks and the squad to move in. You can take control of the bathroom, and because there's the rotation hole, it should be a reinforcement on the side. Yes, there's one of them. It doesn't cover the window drop, but it's definitely something an enemy is playing downstairs. So that's why the hatch was reinforced.
Yeah, so he could play with the mirror a little more effectively, I think.
Even though this is a top floor defense.
I think he thinks so. I mean, they might have just identified that a middle floor take is part of the attack, especially with the buck in play.
Possible, yes. That's a good point. You still need to go through that mirror. You can't just ignore it. At least you can do. The least you could do is just lock her down. But one thing Corey can do is just drop onto the site. Hicks will find another one. So now it's a 5v3, and that's at least one of the rotations that have been cut off. Your two quote-unquote roamers taken away.
Oh, Blast trying to channel Alfama on the flank here.
Worried, really, of how to fight this. Should he stick his spot here atop a spiral and turn around by the long desk, or should he turn around for the rotation? In any which case, there's always somebody watching for the flank and for the play. Corey has already used all of his utility, and stuns and explosives. Of course, fires on through the soft wall and can't really hit anybody in the back. That's Hungry, I believe, on the smoke. There's 28 seconds left. And the push has to come in from this team. Pre-fire in as Hex goes for the team kill, and it's a 3v3. Alfama wins the gunfight up close and actually goes for a plant on A. This is something that really can push PENTA back. The Mira will lose out on the fight. It's a 1v2, and Blast has no clue that the diffuser is being set on the projector room. This is something that is definitely gonna put him aside, and Corey finds the shot right as Blast turns the corner by the long desk. A 7-0 victory.
The caster curse, right? We said it's going to be a close match, so what is it?
This is literally the fastest and the only 7-0 we've had so far in EU.
I guess the stream's got stuff to do today.
It's just, we have our baguettes to have at the end.
Yeah.
Even though they're like two Frenchmen, one Belgian, and two Germans.
Corey definitely fitting in there.
See, I mean, Corey has a specific play style.
I feel like he's actually even doing better on the stream than he was on the previous Navi.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing overall with KS, so KS was the problem, but...
Hashtag. Overall, though, it's impressive to see him adapt, and I'm so glad that team became multi-language, because it used to be entirely French, and then when they picked up, I think it was when they picked up Aces. Yeah, I think it was Aces first that broke that, and then, the former teammate of Corey's, if they played on the team at the same time, unless Corey was there to replace Aces. But it was also a former player from former... What?
Oh, no, I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm questioning myself here now. But
I remember a year ago when everybody was talking about Aces and his USB stick for DreamHack Valencia. No longer a conversation, that's for sure.
No, definitely not the case. If anything, it'd be more for Corey at this point with that play. But it's interesting to see that once they kind of broke that multi-language barrier, the team has only grown stronger because of it.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you sometimes that monolingualness is really going to bite you in the butt. And so
diversity.
For once, he gets to encourage people to learn other languages with a good reason.
Diversity makes us stronger, people. That's something to learn. All of our differences, they actually make us stronger together.
Yeah.
All right, we have an interview ready. Let's have a quick chat with LeStream, maybe as fast as the match. Good evening, Laurent. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
That was a quick game, man. Like, I have a flight to catch in the morning, but that was maybe a bit too fast. So let's look through it. First of all, how is Scory fitting now after this? Do you think it's finally in? It's finally there?
I mean, like, he's been there for a few weeks now. I think he's doing great, but I think he can still do better, like everybody in the team. Like, we still have way to go if we want to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, our objective is to win major, to win invitationals. So we still have a long way to go before being up there.
All right. Well, I want to focus on the operator bans first, because I think there are some interesting things to be said. This is Consulate, and usually you don't really see a Capitao ban. That was coming out from you guys. So what was the mindset behind it, and what were you planning to do with it?
So we watched the VODs, and we know that they like Capitao. They play it a lot. Whereas, like, when it's open, we do play it as well. But we're also confident on other smoke operators, like Greylock, for example. So, like, we feel like it would make them, like, more uncomfortable than it would make us uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go for that ban to really try to, like, put them in the worst place we could possibly put them with the attack bans.
Was there any specific position that you planned on using after that Capitao ban, or through that Capitao ban?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
We still even with the ban, we still go for our own gameplay and our own like how we want to play.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it really didn't impact us that much.
In general, you had pretty good control throughout the whole game. I mean, there's not really much to say because there was only one round where Penta got the advantage over 5v3 early on. Now, I said my own points of how Alfama was able to make the decision at that point. I want you to tell me, though, what was happening as you were listening through the comms of the team.
And it's just like the Alfama moves, Like, we have a lot of information. We had a lot of information on them. We knew where they were. And Alfama just, like, went for it, like, trusted its guts and went for the move to try to get back the advantage. And once again, he did very well.
Yeah, something I was talking to Devin about, and I really want you to tell me if this is wrong or not, is that because all 5 players from Penta were still alive, Alfama knew that there would be nobody cycling through the drone because they have such a big advantage. And that was why he was able to move around, not even destroy a single one of the drones on his way up, because there was one waiting for him as well in the back. So, well, I don't know if that goes into it.
I don't know, like, even when you're 5 alive, we still have someone going from time to time going through the drones. So I don't know if it's the case or not for them. I know that for us it is. So I don't think it really comes to mind. Like, if you see a drone and the drone is activated, then you fall back. Yeah. Because like they're expecting you. If you see the drone with its back, they're not on it, so you can still like go for a move because they're not watching. Yeah.
That's exactly what we had there, but overall, I mean, it's an excellent sheet. It's 7-0. It's as clean as it can get. So, at the end of it, anything you'd like to say to all the fans out there, not just for EU Pro League, but because next week you'll be in Valencia for the minor.
Well, like all the time, for every week, like, thanks a lot for the support. We're seeing our support grow and grow through the weeks and through our performances. And it really motivates us to push ourselves even harder. So thank you very much for the support.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Laurent. Congratulations again on your 7-0.
Thank you.
First one of EU. So, we'll see what happens with that later. I'm sure there will be a nice celebratory dinner at the end of it. But thank you very much. And
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.